Welcome back to Weekly Winners. Today is Thursday, August 26th, and today we're both back together. We have our fantasy football spectacular. We're both in the same lobby. We got a mock draft, 12-team, half PPR starting momentarily. I'm the 12th pick because that's what I am in our league that's drafting Sunday that we're in. You're the fourth in this one, but
I'm seven.
Seven.
Yeah.
But kind of the middle of the pack picking either way. We're going to kind of just narrate as we go, say how we like a pick, who was that reached for. Obviously, it's not a real draft, so, there's no consequence for someone going and getting Trevor Lawrence 1-1. But
right.
Hopefully it stays pretty true to to a real fantasy football draft. It looks like it's starting here. Funny enough, Sunday I'm actually double drafting. I have two drafts at the same time.
Really?
Not exactly the same time, but they will be going on. They will overlap. Which, it's the challenge of scheduling a draft, and hopefully, I can get through the bulk of my picks in the one before the important ones before I have to start doing the other one.
Yeah. So our league's a little different. We have a keeper.
We do have keepers. Personally, I'm not a big fan of keepers. The commissioner who started this league asked if I would do it. I said, I will do it if you need me to be the 12th, but if you can find anyone else, let them do it, because I just don't like keeper leagues. Like either do regular or do dynasty, which I like a dynasty. I'm in a dynasty league as well, but he couldn't find anybody. I was the 12th. I actually ended up winning it last year, so kind of glad for that.
1-1's off the board.
Yep,
McCaffrey, no surprise.
Pretty chalk here.
That guy.
Dalvin Cook goes 2. So what are you thinking for? Who are you hoping to get?
I mean, because this is set to half PPR, I wouldn't mind if Kamara goes here at number 3 and I can get Henry at 4.
Yeah.
I mean,
Henry goes.
So
Kamara is here.
Yeah. I mean, I hate that they, Zeke is the consensus 5. I mean, 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. What spot would you have to be to draft Zeke?
I'm not a fan. I don't know if I'm taking him in the first round.
Yeah, I'm at 12 and I wouldn't take him.
Yeah. So yeah, I locked up Kamara.
Zeke goes 5. Very chalk so far, but that's how first rounds go.
I think after Winston's performance, he pretty much locked up the starting job over in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But I still think they'll lean pretty heavily on Kamara. I think they'll let Winston sling it, but
he's not a check down back. He runs routes, which is good for his overall production. Aaron Jones goes 6. Obviously, if you have him, he's going to produce yards, but you're hoping to see a replication of 20 touchdowns.
Right. I'll be curious to see where Saquon goes.
Mm-hmm. Devontae goes next. Packers back to back.
And Chubb?
I will ask, because this is a strategy I definitely apply in my leagues. Both in Wisconsin, I am hesitant to pick Packer players because I feel like they're just naturally going to get overdrafted because there's fans of those teams. There is something to say about drafting them because they're better for trading. Like guys want. I just tried to get didn't work, but I tried to get TJ Hawkinson from a guy in my dynasty league, and I was sweetening the pot, and I threw like Cobb in there. That's not really much of a sweetener, but I'm like, maybe he likes Cobb.
Right. All right, so we got you up here.
Austin Eckler just went. Tyreek Hill and Saquon also off the board at 9, 10, 11. So here, this is an easy back-to-back for me. I'm taking Jonathan Taylor at 12. He's going to get a lot of touches. He's just going to produce. And then first pick of the second round. For me, this would be perceived as a reach, especially by the things they got going on here. Uh, I'm taking Travis Kelsey with the first pick of the second round. Tight end is such a narrow position. There is no depth at tight end. If you have a tight end, like a premier tight end, of which there are 2.5 in the league, you are in such a good spot. Otherwise, you are going to be waiver wiring your tight end like week to week.
Yeah, so with redraft leagues, that's actually my favorite thing to do though. There was a league I was in for 7 years, won it all 7 years,
Pretty good.
but they added a dollar fee for every transaction because there was a year I had triple digit waivers.
Oh yeah,
I just missed the draft, hated my team, and every week I was just scouring the waivers.
I do it for my defense almost every week.
Okay.
I don't like. There's like 2 defenses every year where like I have to start every week. Like it's just matchups.
Right.
Like no, but for like tight end tiers, like I think it's very obvious. Like Kelsey Kittle, everyone knows that. And I think the kind of like B tier, all by himself, is like Darren Waller. And then it goes down to like your Hawkinsons, probably your Kyle Pitts, it's those like lower level, like Robert Hunning's like a top 10 tight end. And he's like just kind of shown flashes. Like,
Right.
it's such there's not a lot of options. So yeah, you have to kind of commit. Like, I don't like going in a middle in a 4th or 5th round and picking up one of those middle guys just because they're not going to produce for you every week. Either get a premier one or waiver wire it the position every week.
All right, so I'm rolling up here in 3 picks.
Just a quick recap of the round. We got Antonio Gibson, which I think is being drafted high. Like I see the position he's in to succeed, but that doesn't mean he's going to. Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, and I think a steal at 2-6 with Calvin Ridley. I was considering taking him if it wasn't for the positional advantage of Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
So Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes here. So you got it's coming up. Who are you hoping?
I'm hoping D-Hop is still there.
Yep.
And there he goes.
Your boys there. Well, both your boys that you had in your top 10.
I know.
DK and AJ are there, as well as Justin Jefferson and the aforementioned Darren Waller. Wait, Darren Waller's up here. Kittle hasn't gone, right? No.
No. I'm guessing Kittle. Oh, well, all right. Got DK. 30-second shot clock. Used to that minute and a half.
Yeah.
Where you can scour. I don't hate it, but so I know I ranked AJ Brown in the top 10, as I did Justin Jefferson. I, in a fantasy setting, would rank Justin Jefferson far higher than AJ Brown because AJ Brown just has so many guys on that offense to split touches with. When you look at Derrick Henry and Julio, like
there is something to be said for AJ Brown that the defense has to stack guys in the box, and that 1-1 corner is now on Julio.
That's true.
He'll have one-on-ones, which is terrifying for teams going against the Titans, that you're going to have to put your second guy one-on-one. Or do you put your one guy, do you put your best corner on, hope he can fare well 1v1, and you just double team Julio every with a safety every play?
I could see that happening.
Either way, he's not the one getting doubled very often for with Julio out there. So yeah, AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson going right after. We're kind of at the turn of the second and third round here. And Waller and Kittle are the kind of the top two available here. Have to imagine he picks one of them up. And he goes Waller, and then reaches for. Oh no, he goes. Yeah, it goes Waller, then reaches for Keenan Allen a little bit, and then Allen Robinson gets picked up. I like Allen Robinson in the third round a lot.
Yeah. And that Keenan Allen pick, I'm actually more high on Mike Williams than I am on
Yeah,
Keenan Allen this year. And I think Keenan Allen will have more fantasy points when the year's done, but I think you can get Mike Williams at a
later.
better value than you can Keenan Allen.
Terry McLaurin goes. Cody's on the board, and the top
Um,
player left is Mahomes. Will you go?
I am
First
not.
quarterback.
Not a fan of that. I am actually kind of locking up one of those big three tight ends, if you want to say. I'll be picking
I
Kittle.
think that's a great spot. I can't believe he dropped this far to the third round.
I don't know if you are people that worried that he missed, 8 weeks or whatever with that injury last year, or
I guess.
I don't know. I like my spot there, grabbing him in the third because, like you said, there's just such a huge fall off.
Yeah, so I've got a little while before I go here, but I got running back, tight end. I have to start looking at some wide receivers. I do kind of like the strategy of getting as I talked about, getting your tight end early or extremely late. Um, Also, running back is getting to be a shorter category. There are very few guys who are the one undisputed. Um, so I like getting a couple of sure running backs, and then I want to just go on a run of wide receivers and have like five wide receivers on my bench. Just have options every week at wide
Yeah.
receiver. Which obviously that strategy is very vulnerable to running back injuries, which are definitely a thing. But again, we could talk about injuries with every player that gets drafted here. Obviously, some more prevalent than others. But yeah, I got three more picks before my doubles. I see David Montgomery still there. I'd love for him to still be there. Chris Carson probably wouldn't take it if he's still there. A couple of Tampa Bay wide receivers just are up with Mike Evans, who just went. Um, and Chris Godwin is kind of coming up as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm seeing a name that I love so much for what he did for me last year. James Robinson kind of coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been seeing how the Jags have been playing the preseason?
A little bit.
It's really weird.
Yeah, it's
like because they're pretty much giving James Robinson and Carlos Hyde split carries, and literally just it's like every one out of every 5 possessions they give and Tenney the ball.
well, he's out for the year now. So.
Yeah.
I am up. Chris Carson and Chris Godwin went. Perplexing in my opinion, to pick Chris Carson over David Montgomery, especially with a rookie quarterback probably coming in week 3 or 4, going to be leaned on.
Right.
So I'm taking David Montgomery here, and for my turnaround, I have 2 running backs now. So now it's kind of wide receiver time, or I could go James Robinson and kind of fill out another running back.
Oh, my boy.
If it's wide receiver for me here, it's Amari Cooper or Julio or DJ Moore, who just got that big extension. I think these guys are all very close, but I think there's a lot of well, that is unfortunate. It took Amari Cooper for me. Not enough time to talk about all these. I wanted James Robinson. I think there's a lot of wide receivers at that kind of DJ Moore, Amari Cooper level. So like I got obviously 2 whole rounds to kind of get back to me. But what is the wide receiver drop off between Amari Cooper and who I'm going to be able to get at the end after 22 more picks. I
Yeah.
don't think it's that great of a gap. I guess we will find out. Wish I had James Robinson here. That would be my third running back, which I think would be just a really good spot to be in, having Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery, like as well, just and James Robinson, three running backs who are gonna easily be the number one on their team in carries. Start all three of them, can start two of them if you want. Like you're gonna have a premier running back starting, two premier running backs starting for you every week. It's a great spot to be in. Wish I was in it, but thankfully this isn't my real team. So yeah, we'll plug along here. Who are you hoping that gets back to you? James Robinson's still sitting there.
I know everyone's kind of going the receiver route. I'm kind of hoping because I'm up in 5 picks. Oh, it'll auto pick for him, I think. No, auto picks Julio.
Julio.
All right.
Josh Jacobs sneaking up there as well as Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Robinson gets picked, I'll go receiver.
Who do you have so far?
So I got Kamara in round 1, DK in 2, Kittle in 3.
So good spread here.
Yeah.
You can really go anywhere.
Okay, Miles Sanders drafted above James Robinson. I don't necessarily hate that because their quarterback situation is kind of iffy as well, but
the worry of Miles Sanders is if they're down big in a lot of games and they're just throwing in the second half.
Right. There he goes.
Thoughts on Darrell Henderson, whose name is coming up here?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that Rams team I think they're going to be slinging. I mean, with Stafford in there. Wow, I thought Josh Jacobs was going to be around until my 5th round pick where I was planning on grabbing him. That seems like a little reach. He just got drafted.
Now, I was fortunate in the keeper league. I have Darrell Henderson, who I can use as a keeper to lose like a 14th round pick or something. So
I mean,
that's a no-brainer for me. But so I'm rooting for him.
I'm going a little different. I'm taking my QB a little earlier than I like to. Kyler was sitting there. End of the 4th round seems about right for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just looking at the wideouts at that point, Cooper Kupp was the best available. It's kind of like you said. I feel like there's a lot of receivers at that Cooper Kupp. Oh my gosh!
We got a couple guys on the auto pick. Deontay Johnson going on the 6th round by Kareem Hunt.
I'm going T. Higgins. It went Adam Thielen, Brandon Ayuk, and T. Higgins were the best available.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really know the quarterback situation over in San Fran. Not a huge Thielen guy. I just think Jefferson's going to have a monster season in Minnesota. And I don't know. I think that Bengals offense will be electric. I think they'll be young.
Yeah.
I think a lot of turnovers, but I do think there's that boomer bust opportunity.
For sure. 5 more till I'm up. Brandon Ayuk, Kenny Galladay, kind of those wide receivers. So, kind of as I said, what's the gap between Amari Cooper and Kenny Galladay? I don't think it's there, but it's not substantial. So yeah, kind of why I guess I would advise avoid wide receivers end of 3rd, start of 4th, if that's what you're picking. But obviously a couple spots this way or that way, or even a 10-man league, and that all changes. So this is where I think that 3rd tier of tight ends are kind of sitting at the end of the 5th round here. Kyle Pitts, Mark Andrews, kind of sitting there. Hawkinson just went. So that's where if you're looking to get a mid-tier tight end, that's where you're looking. But as I kind of said, I wouldn't recommend that. I don't think if you get a one of those guys that they'll be good for you some weeks, but they're not like a perfect slot and starter every single week in every matchup. So I'm up here, and Kenny Galladay is here, which, it's time to start filling out my wide receivers. So that's who I'm going to pick up. And a couple of quarterbacks sitting here with Lamar and Dak, but I'm going to go second wide receiver, and I'm going to go who I think is going to be number one in Cincinnati right off the bat, and that's Jamar Chase. So despite that kind of hiccup with my auto draft, I got Amari Cooper, Kenny Galladay, Jamar Chase as my wide receivers. Not the strongest group, but certainly guys who will probably touchdown dependent to be real producers every week. But I think they'll probably have plenty of opportunities to score those touchdowns.
Yeah. I like that you're holding off on QB. I got a soft spot for Kyler
Right.
when I saw him sitting there. But
the opportunity there was Lamar or Dak, and I've already very publicly said how I don't think Lamar is going to be what he was, and Dak is such a question mark. Like, if he goes down, like, all of a sudden, you're looking at the bottom of the barrel for a quarterback, unless you're taking a second one early. Like,
yeah,
I just don't like the you're kind of staking your season on him, and yeah, he might win you the league if you can pick him up in the 6th round, but he could lose you it as well. I would much rather, in the Dak area, even though I said his team will probably be a little worse, go Russ Wilson there. He'll still produce plenty of numbers for you.
right. So I'm coming up here in 2 picks.
Dak did just go Jerry, Jeudy, Odell. Where are you looking? Rodgers?
No.
I mean, he had Kyler, but what would you think about Rodgers in the 6th?
I like it. I think he'll produce. I don't think he'll put up MVP. He won't have repeat last season,
Right.
but I think. Okay, so I'm up here, and I actually like Raheem Mostert here. Because the way I look at it is so he will most likely be splitting.
That we're in split carry running back territory.
But the way I look at it is we've seen how little they throw the ball when Jimmy G's at QB.
True.
And if Jimmy G's not at QB, well, then they're running with a rookie QB, and they'll be relying. It's a run-heavy offense.
It's
just.
Sure.
So I don't hate him. Normally, I don't like split carry backs.
So who are you going with here?
Oh, I'm up. Oh, jeez. Everyone between my picks must be on auto draft.
So we have Damian Harris going, probably your last RB1 who's going to be on the board.
Yeah.
Like true RB1.
And
I don't know if I think that's more of an indictment on the Patriots roster than it is a plus for him, but he's going to get carries for sure.
Right. And again, whether it's Mac Jones or
Cam,
he's going to get touches. So I think we're both kind of going into wide receiver territory for the next 3-4 rounds.
This is the point. I followed pretty close my strategy that I use for most drafts over the last few years. It's default wide receiver at this point after you've gotten your running backs. But every pick you have, take a look at those top 3 or 4 quarterbacks left. Think what's the gap between 1 and 4, and see if that guy's going to be able to get back to you, especially in the spot where I'm at, where I have so long between picks. Also, very important to be looking at other people's rosters, paying attention to who other people have drafted already, so you know who still needs a quarterback. Because if 11 people have taken a quarterback, you can coast for a few rounds because there's no reason in taking one. Maybe you have to start worrying a little bit once someone takes their first backup, but I think that's a great spot to be in. So here come my 2 back-to-back picks, and Ronald Jones, Melvin Gordon are there. Kind of your 2 your number two, 1A, 1B kind of type backs. Um, if we're looking wide receivers, I got Will Fuller there. It's not a great spot for wide receivers, to be honest. I will go Brady for quarterback. I kind of like where it is. He is going to get those he's going to put those yards up, and eighth round, I'm fine with that. And I'm taking Devontae Smith. I'm heavy on the rookie wide receivers, but again, another guy who could be wide receiver one going into week one as a rookie. I don't think volume is going to be a problem for him. Yeah, a little earlier than I usually go with my QB, but I mean, Brady in the eighth round. My roster's pretty full out, and I like the way it's looking. First player on my bench is Devonta Smith, so we're kind of getting into that territory.
Yeah,
kind of boomer bust players is how I look at the bench. I don't want guys on the bench who I can slot in for a 6-point performance. I want a guy who's going to has the potential to get me 20 on a night. Maybe he gets me 2, but
right.
And I think Robert Tonyan, who is the top tight end available right now, over Logan Thomas, which I kind of disagree with.
I disagree as well.
But I think he is kind of he gives you that boomer bust opportunity. He might just get 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. So I'm up in 1 pick.
James Conner goes. It's kind of gross.
Okay. I was happy with either. Jarvis Landry and Laviska Shenault were both sitting there. I'm drafting Laviska in hopes that Mike Williams is there.
I think Laviska is more likely to make it around for you if you take Mike here.
I'm what the heck's going on here?
You basically have back-to-back picks at this point. 1 through 3 are auto drafting.
Right, but then it skips over everyone. This is one of those positions where
he's still there for you.
Mike Williams?
Yeah.
He's not on my screen.
Is mine just not updating? No, he's not.
Oh, 3 seconds. Okay. Well, Jalen Waddle, welcome to the squad.
Don't hate that.
I was debating, do you pull the trigger on Mike Thomas, thinking he might get traded?
Well, he's going to be out for a while with that surgery he's getting. But I mean, we're in round 9. If he's getting back to me, I'm taking him. I mean, that's a I want to win a championship.
Oh, it looks like he's gone.
Yeah. That's a I want to win a championship. Like, he's going to produce at the end of the season is what you're hoping. Especially with a round 9 pick, you can afford to do that. You're not giving up a starting position pick to get him. That's what I'll definitely keep my eye on when we draft later on. He's unfortunately my first round pick in my dynasty league. So, I've always had to hold out hope for him, but see, this is kind of what I was talking about. Ton of tight ends stacked up here.
Right.
So now I am up here. And if I go to my wide receivers here, we're looking Marquise Brown, which people are kind of low on. Cole Beasley. Couldn't see drafting him right now with everything going on. I'm just going to go back-to-back young receivers here. Give me Henry Ruggs. And give me McCole Hardman.
I like it. I think we talked about it a little in the wide receiver ranking. I think it's kind of a make or break year for Mecole. I think this will be the year where we either know if he's for real or if he's not.
And he is now the 5th receiver in my roster. So what do I want out of that spot? As I said, boom or bust. McCole Hardman isn't getting you 5-6 points in a game.
Right.
He might, but he's also liable to get you 0, or he could just explode for one catch for 80 yards and a touchdown. But that's a pretty good day for him. So if that's the kind of guy, if I have to play him at some point, it's what I want out of that guy.
There's so many like young guys I like, but I don't know how these random people were drafting with how high they are. Because like I am a huge fan of Gabriel Davis, but and we're in like the 11th round, so I don't really care if it's a reach.
Right. Jalen Hurts has been sitting there.
I'm not high on him.
No, but it's this everyone kind of has their quarterback.
That's fair.
So this would be the
Actually, I'm going Burrow.
All right.
If I'm taking a QB, I'm more comfortable taking Burrow as my backup right here in the 11th.
For sure.
So now, if this was like a normal redraft league, I don't even draft defenses or kickers.
Right.
I just load up on skill positions and then kind of see a couple days before week 1 starts. Okay, like these are guys poised to play. These are guys who aren't.
So I'm up here. Backup QB, Trevor Lawrence, give him to me. End of the season. If the Bucks are cemented and kind of where they're going to be in that division, and I need a guy who just to save me in the playoffs, Trevor Lawrence might be that guy. So I'm comfortable taking him there. I have all the wide receivers, so I'm thinking running back here. Not loving a lot of names on the list, but I don't think we really would. So I'm taking Latavius Murray here. I'm hoping he never sees the field, but it's round 12. It's kind of his time. But to your point, I used to be like I don't draft these defense and kickers because I'm just going to waiver wire them, right? But because those, they were 13, 14, 15 pick, those are the guys who are going to be first kind of wavered out. I will draft a defense not based on like rankings to like hold on to them. I guess if it's like the number 1 defense, sure, I'll take them if no one else has taken one yet. But like 15th round, I'm perfectly comfortable spending that pick on a defense who has the like highest projection for week 1 or the best matchup for week 1, because that's a team that like if that's a position I'm swapping out, that 15th pick is providing no value to me. That guy is a guy I'm just going to waiver get release anyway. So give me first dibs on the team that I'm going to start week 1. No defenses have gone, correct? No.
I don't think so. I know I'm kind of for the purposes of this just being a mock, I guess I will take a defense. I'll take the Rams.
Look at the stack up of tight ends here. Gronk, Jonnu Smith, Evan Ingram, Hunter Henry. What a fall from grace from Evan Ingram.
So I do have, what do I got here? I have 5 wideouts and 3 running backs. Let's just kind of. I'm going to take, what? Okay, well, I thought I hit Gabriel Davis, but I hit, I don't know who that is. Traquan Smith.
Let's go.
So that's what you want to see. I just think it's the whole 30-second shot clock that just gets me.
We didn't want to triple the length of this.
Right.
But a lot of guys went to auto draft, which that's kind of what you get when you're doing your mocks. I do recommend do a mock or two with your league rules before your actual draft. They'll just especially because you know what's going to happen in those first 3 rounds. But like, you can see what players are there in rounds 9, 10, 11, even a little earlier than that, and kind of have those in the back of your mind. So I'm up here. Last 3 picks, I'm basically looking for backup tight end, defense kicker, because it wants you to just fill out the thing. Defense, I think there's a ton of. I'll just go. I'll take the Washington football team here. That defense. Give me Evan Ingram as my backup tight end. Could pick Gronk, but I think he's just not going to play that much in the regular season. My Woody.
Right.
Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, I think kind of just stay away from those.
All right. Got my boy. Gabriel Davis was still there 1 round later. One of these guys is off auto draft now.
He absolutely had to show back up to make sure he gets Greg Zuerlein on his team.
Then I guess I go kicker here.
Young Hoku.
Well, we'll see. I gotta wait for this guy to.
Yeah, I got the last overall pick, obviously, so I'm gonna be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is normally how I do it. I would just draft Carlos Hyde because for some reason,
right, just take
Jacksonville is also considering him a lot more than I thought they would for the starting.
It's role. Also interesting in a keeper league like the one we're drafting on Sunday. This is where I would pick, long shots, like
right.
Someone I can give up my 15th round pick to keep.
I'd pick a rookie.
Yeah,
just.
Who was that Jets running back they drafted?
I don't even remember his name.
But they're high on him. I would pick him.
Yeah, I guess. Sure. Matt Rodrigo, get over here. Blankenship.
Nice. Jealous. So yeah, that's kind of our as we go down the line here. And the final pick of this draft will be it's a tough one. Michael Bagley of the Chargers.
Mr. Irrelevant.
What was your draft grade?
B-. I
got a C. I got a 75 out of 100.
I think I was overgraded. I didn't like my draft, if I'm being honest.
Obviously, this is going to be based on the rankings that were put ahead of you. So
right.
You can get an A by picking whoever that top player is every time. But yeah, so yeah, I like my team pretty good.
Just closed out.
My starters would be Tom Brady, Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery, Amari Cooper, Kenny Galladay, Travis Kelce, and then my defense, Washington football team, Michael Bagley, my kicker, and my flex would be a mix between Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Henry Ruggs. I like having those young wide receivers as my flex option. Just give them if they're hot, get them in there. If they have the matchup, pick them. Obviously, I wanted James Robinson over. If I don't run out of time there, and I pick James Robinson over Amari Cooper, and then he's kind of in the mix for my flex, and Devonta Smith becomes like a permanent member of my wide receiver core, I think I'm feeling much better about my team. But yeah, overall, I think a pretty successful draft. I like the spots that I picked. Looking who was available at the end, I maybe could have even waited even longer at quarterback, but Brady was out there, so I took him.
If you close it out, there's no way of recovering.
Yeah, I can pull yours up.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I liked most of my picks. I did not like the Traquan Smith pick. I'll live with that just because, I mean, no Michael Thomas.
Right.
You know.
I've heard some buzz around him in the preseason.
Like I say, I have a soft spot for Kyler.
What round did you get him in?
The 4-9.
Okay.
Usually I don't take QB. I usually start looking at like 6 or 7, but if Kyler's there, I mean, people are just so high on him. But I mean, I liked Kamara at the 1-4. I actually like my running back core the more I think about it, with Kamara, Harris, and Mostert. I just think all three guys will be getting a ton of touches. Lots of young guys at the wideout. I mean, Metcalf, Higgins, Chenault, Waddle, Davis, Gabriel Davis. And yeah, I got Joe Burrow in the 11th as my backup. Feels, I like it. I mean, I guess you do have to worry a little bit about the injury. But yeah, I like it. And then I got the Rams, which I think most people can agree, probably the number one defense.
Can't agree, but I'm not most people.
So now I've got a question for you.
All right.
We've got our draft coming up Sunday, right?
Correct. Yep.
So we do 4 keepers. And I've kind of been going back and forth on who I want to keep. So basically the rules are, so if I picked the guy in the 5th round, I lose my 5th round pick for this year if I decide to keep him. And then if you want to keep a guy that was picked up off of the waivers, like he was never drafted, just a straight waiver pickup, you lose your 12th round pick. And then it also is a 2 quarterback half PPR league.
Yeah, so it's not typical.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks are very valuable in this league because it's a 2 QB. We will see quarterbacks going in the first round.
Yeah. Yeah, last year we had 2, Mahomes and Lamar. So I have one for sure lock, and that's Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
I drafted him in round 14. I mean, with how valuable QBs are in a 2 QB league, totally cool keeping Herbert all day at the 14th round pick. I don't need it. But I think the one that's like, oh, sorry, I do have 2 locks. James Robinson as well.
No,
he was a waiver pickup.
Oh yeah.
And then when I saw Tanny or whatever his last name is, when I saw he got hurt and they initially said like at least a month, I'm like, okay, I'll give up my 12th round pick for Robinson. But I think the one that's like tearing me apart right now is my 16th and final round pick.
Yeah, tearing me apart.
Dallas Goedert. Because last year with Ertz out, clear tight end 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was the 5th overall scoring tight end or something. But it's like, and they wanted Ertz out. They were trying their hardest to trade him, but just couldn't get rid of him. And so in all the mock drafts I've been doing on the Sleeper app, which is what we use, people are grabbing him, Goedert in like the 4th round still. And I'm like, well, that seems high.
Yeah.
And then in ours, Goedert goes in like the 10th. So then it's not as valuable for me to keep him. So I don't.
Yeah. Still higher than 12th, but.
Right.
I got Ertz. I could keep him for a 4th. Now I have, I think, 2, probably 300% locks on my team. I will be using all 4 keeper spots. Like I said, quarterbacks will be going in the 1st round, and I picked Josh Allen in the 5th round. So easy, give up my 5th round to keep Josh Allen there. Justin Jefferson, I picked up someone else picked him up in the 11th round, and I ended up trading for him. So yeah, easy. Give up 11th. He'll go earlier than that. Kind of with the Cam Akers injury, I have Darrell Henderson, who I drafted in the 13th round. So even, giving up less than I would for a free agent pickup for him. So I feel like that is a lock. He's going to be RB1 for a 13th round pick. Have to do that. And then that fourth spot, I actually have a couple options. The last option is I could give up my 16th for Janu, which he's not really, it's giving up next to nothing, but
Right.
it's not much. Unfortunately, I could give up my 12th round pick. I picked up Cole Beasley from free agency, so I can give up my 12th for him. But worried about the COVID stuff, like how many games will he actually be able to play? I think the player who ends up doing it for me is I picked Deontay Johnson in the 14th. And he kind of blossomed. So I think, I give up my 14th and my 11th, and I have Justin Jefferson and Deontay Johnson for a receiver core. I think, giving up double-digit round picks for that kind of start with, Josh Allen and Darrell Henderson. But the problem with taking advantage of that late round value means I am keeping my first round pick and giving up Derrick Henry, which I don't know if I want to do that either because I'm the 12th pick because I won the league. So I could give up pick 112 and keep Derrick Henry, who, is a top 5 pick.
Right.
But then what do? Do I not keep Darrell Henderson? Do I not keep Justin Jefferson because it's an 11th? I don't know what to do. I got too many good players.
I think, because I'm keeping Robinson, who was a waiver pickup, that absorbs my 12th round pick.
Yes.
Well, in the 12th round, I got Mike Williams, who, I'm high on.
Yeah.
Granted, I feel like 12th round's about right. Like, there's not a ton of value in keeping him. The value is just that I can assure with 100% confidence he's on my roster.
Correct, yeah.
Which is kind of why
Especially if you're not going to use all of your keepers.
Right. Which is why I'm keeping Kyler with my second round as well. Because that's about where he'll go, late first, early second. But like I'm not keeping him because I think there's a ton of value. I'm keeping him because I just want to assure he's on my team. And then another guy that I feel like is probably just about right is Mark Andrews. He's definitely I'd say a top 5 tight end. It's just he's very kind of touchdown dependent, which most tight ends are. But
so the interesting thing is you can go on and see who people have set as keepers. So I'm looking, the only people that set are the 4 guys drafting before me, and none of them. One of them is giving up their first round pick. So I know there's going to be 3 picks essentially right before me that are going to be made.
And I'm not keeping mine as well. So
right. So I will get a worse player than Derrick Henry in the first round if I don't keep him. But what's worse, getting, whoever at the end there, which is, it would be very hard to even figure out who that would be with people are keeping.
So
probably
like
not
a guy like Nick Chubb or
probably not very high value talent, because even there's people, getting kept that will be first round picks, but they're used for a third with a third or a fourth. But then do I give up like the extreme value of getting an RB1 with my 14th round pick? It's tough. I think I'll probably won't make a decision until Sunday. But yeah, I guess we'll kind of recap what happened on our Monday show, see what we decided and who we ended up getting and such. Hopefully you guys have luck in your upcoming drafts, or if you already drafted. Crazy. I had a draft in July, early July. I don't know why. Commissioner was just ready to go. Missed football, just like the rest of us. It was like, hey, we're drafting. It's draft this weekend. We're like, okay. We kind of touch on baseball quick before we end the show. Um, I had maybe my best bet of me just sniffing out a line yesterday, uh, or on Tuesday rather. I see the Angels at the Orioles. The Orioles are on a horrendous skid of losing games, and I'm like looking at their previous 10 games, and every other night they're getting like 9, 10 runs scored on them. So I'm looking, I'm like, let me see what the Angels run line is, and let me like tease that line up to be like over 8 or something crazy. Fine line, it's at like 4.5, 5.5. It doesn't let you move the line. So I'm like, all right, I'll settle for just the game over. So I move it all the way up as far as I can to 12. Get plus 180 on it. I'm at the gym. I pull up my phone quick to check scores, and the Angels up like 13-3 in the fourth inning. I'm like, nailed that one, cashed that money. Like, just saw the Matrix on that one. Knew that one was coming. So that was a really big one for me. I went 3-2 last night, but that 3-2 resulted in me going up 3.3 units because I also hit the Dodgers -2 at the Padres and the Giants for plus 100 at the Mets. So that was a really good day for me. Today, Wednesday, is when we're recording, so you'll know how we did already before we do when you're listening to this. I got 3 bets only. I'm going Phillies -1.5 versus the Reds. That's plus 145. I bet them yesterday as well. I just think they're kind of even teams. And plain and simple, the Phillies, I think, need it a little bit more, and they're at home. So I'm fine taking that line. I'm going White Sox, Blue Jays under 8. Again, I'm kind of looking at those last 10 game lines from or results from both the White Sox and the Blue Jays. And when they play good teams, it's just like 3-2, 3-1, 2-1, 3-0 games. Like, good baseball teams versus good baseball teams.
Yeah.
And they both have pretty good pitchers going today. So I'm going under 8 for plus 118. I think that I brought that down from 8.5. And then I'm going Giants -1 at the Mets for plus 140. It's the Mets. They've collapsed, and the Giants are a good baseball team. I don't know why these lines, they've been like a pick 'em. So I'm just taking the value I can with the Giants. And I'm comfortable taking that -1 to kind of get those good odds.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same thought process in that Giants game, except I got them at -1.5 instead of -1 at plus 170. So I guess you have the benefit of being able to push.
Is a third unit worth that possibility? They win by 1. It's close.
Yeah,
I think that's the point.
right. And then I also bet on the Blue Jays and White Sox game, except I took the Blue Jays -1.5. I'm just constantly, whenever I like the line the White Sox have, they, whether, right left matchup, pitching matchup, whenever I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm liking the White Sox here, they always let me down.
Yeah.
So kind of flipping the script here. We're going Blue Jays -1.5, also plus 170. Weirdly enough, the Tigers -1.5 at the Cardinals is also plus 170. And then the Rockies -1.5 at the Cubs at plus 118. The Cubs are just,
yeah,
they might as well just shut down the franchise.
Sad days in Chicago. Yeah, but yeah, those are our bets. Hopefully yours win as well. Traditionally, my bets are winners, contrary to a couple weeks ago when all I could pick was losers. I'm hot, I'm cold, but I'm hot right now, so ride with me now. But hopefully, no matter who you ride with, your bets win. That is our show, and we will see you on Monday. Holdout football is coming.